Waking up in the morning, Elvira felt unlucky. Instead of her cell phone ringing, she woke up on her own. It seemed that the alarm clock on her phone had failed to go off again. It wasn't the first time this had happened, so she quickly got out of bed and hurried to the bathroom, and then the kitchen. She knew she needed coffee, but time was running out. Unfortunately, glancing at the clock, she realized that the coffee maker wasn't working. Frustrated, she pressed the button again, but there was no response. She realized that she should have used the kettle to make tea instead, and grabbed the croissants she had bought at the supermarket the day before, but they were no longer fresh. Well, it's just one of those bad luck days, she muttered to herself. Now I have to get the coffee machine repaired, and it's been in the shop for 3 days. I'll have to take the bus to work, she added. Quickly drinking her tea, she hurried to her room where her outfit for the office was hanging on the back of a chair. But the dress was lying on the floor. Apparently her cat Barsik, who was happily eating breakfast in the kitchen, had slept on it. Elvira scolded the cat, calling him a rascal, and decided to wear jeans and a beige shirt instead. In her hurry to lock the door with the key, she accidentally broke a nail on her index finger. "Oh no, not again," she exclaimed. "What a day, it's only morning, and I can't even imagine what's coming next." Annoyed, Elvira hurried out of the apartment. Fortunately, the bus came up quickly, and she managed to find a free seat. She sighed as she sat down, grateful for the momentary respite. "Hi," she heard a familiar male voice nearby. Throwing a glance toward the window, she saw her ex-husband Anton standing next to her. Mortified, Elvira realized that she was out of luck today. "Hi," she replied, averting her gaze. Anton was smiling, clearly in good spirits. "Why are you turning your back on me? Let's at least talk. It's been almost a year and a half since we last saw each other, and you're still as beautiful and lively," Anton remarked caustically. "Why do you take public transportation? Did your car break down or did you sell it? It's not very respectable for a businesswoman to ride the bus," he scoffed. Elvira kept silent, preferring not to spoil her mood. However, Anton continued to live, unable to forgive her their divorce and loss of business. He knew that he would gain nothing from her business, but he still wanted to take advantage of the situation. Elvira, in her 44 years, owned her own business center. She had divorced Anton because of his infidelity and wandering eyes. Her daughter had already been married for about a year and was living with her husband by the sea. Elvira planned to visit them while on vacation. The daughter harbored a grudge against her father, cut off all contact, and refused to see him. Nevertheless, Elvira stubbornly insisted, "Daughter, it is pointless for you not to communicate with your father. After all, he is your only father, and you will never have another. Our quarrels and divorce have nothing to do with you. Mom, I sympathize with you. I would prefer not to see or hear from him. I am an independent adult and I understand the situation. It's disgusting," her daughter expressed her thoughts. Elvira felt apprehensive as she realized she would have to endure her ex's presence for a while longer, sharing the same destination. She asked Anton, "I wonder why he is in our neighborhood. Are you visiting Katya, Masha, or someone else? How's Lyra, the one you left for?" Anton corrected her, saying, "Not Marina, but Lyra." Elvira continued, "Oh yes, Lyra. Or did she also kick you out?" Anton tried to convince her, "I'm just here for some business in this neighborhood. I left my car for repairs." Elvira scoffed, "Don't be ridiculous. I know you don't even have a car. You were worthless before, living off my expenses, and it seems nothing has changed. Why doesn't Lyra support you financially?" Anton answered irritably, "Not Marina, but Lyra." He tried to provoke her and noticed her broken nail, commenting with a sneer, "And what do we have here? A broken fingernail? And no money to fix it. Is your business declining? I have never seen you in this state before. You used to take such good care of your nails." It's unbecoming for a businesswoman with such nails to rely on public transportation. What will people think of you? He is familiar with her sensitive points, understanding exactly how to provoke her. For Elvira, things like clothes, cosmetics, and manicures always take top priority. A broken nail can be a major annoyance for her, even if he may not see it that way. My business is thriving as always. There's no one around now to steal money and spend it on your K-Tech and Mashka. Oops, my apologies, Marina, she remarked pointedly. Not Marina, but Lyra. When will you remember? Anton snapped irritably. Though he was trying to rile her up, Elvira remained composed, causing him a pang of hurt that his ex-wife couldn't even recall Lyra's name. Elvira made sure not to reveal any signs of irritation, at least not in what she said aloud. Don't worry about my toenail. It broke accidentally after a rough and enjoyable night. I'll head to the office, call a manicurist, and everything will be fine. You know I never skimp on a good manicure, unlike you with your cigarette habit, she retorted. Their conversation was laced with bitterness as they exchanged verbal jabs, with Elvira holding the upper hand for now. Why didn't your friend give you a ride after your eventful night? Or is he also without transportation like you? Why haven't you bought him a car? She goaded. I didn't offer him a ride because his Jeep is in the shop, strangely enough. Does your Marina also frequent nail salons, or does she do her nails at home? Do you always struggle with money when it comes to taking care of the woman you supposedly love? Anton's patience nearly ran out as he repeated, Lyra. Is it so hard to remember? Nearby, a well-dressed man with glasses and a smart haircut observed their interaction with interest. Oleg had a rough morning, oversleeping and finding his car out of commission, forcing him to leave it by the entrance to make it to a crucial meeting he himself had scheduled. His team knew he had no tolerance for lateness, making his scramble for a bus a last resort to avoid missing the meeting. Oleg noticed that Elvira and Anton were preparing to disembark, and he quickly got up since it was his stop as well. When the bus doors opened, he stepped off first and stood by the door, extending his hand to Elvira. Darling, take my hand, he said with a meaningful smile. Be careful not to trip. Public transportation can be unfamiliar for you. Elvira was taken aback at first, but quickly caught on to Oleg's game. Smiling, she responded, Oh, thank you, dear. You're right, we should be cautious. By the way, when are you picking up your car from the repair shop? Today. Oleg replied with an apologetic tone. I'm sorry we had to endure the bus ride. Anton nearly stumbled when he saw a handsome man offering his hand to Elvira and calling her darling. He couldn't help but think that his ex was now living a lonely life, pining for him. After all, he believed his looks allowed him to easily attract women. His wife had tolerated his infidelities until she couldn't bear it any longer. In a sour mood, Anton grumbled to himself as he made his way to work. Just as he walked away, he overheard Elvira saying, Hi, Marina. Not Marina, but Lyra, Anton muttered under his breath, annoyed. Elvira laughed, glancing at Oleg. Thanks for supporting me back there. How did you manage it? Well, I was sitting behind you and unintentionally witnessed your heated exchange with your ex-husband. Oleg explained. It was quite obvious. Is he causing you trouble? Elvira sighed. Yes, he's my ex-husband. We got divorced 1.5 years ago. It was a tough process, and he definitely got on my nerves. But I managed to overcome it. Oleg introduced himself, saying, By the way, I'm Oleg. What's your name? Elvira shared her morning misfortunes with her assistant, expressing her frustration about her alarm clock not ringing and her upcoming meeting with her ex. She apologized for being in a hurry, as she disliked being late, emphasizing her dislike for tardiness in others as well. Her assistant sympathized, relating a similar experience in which they didn't meet their ex, but their car wouldn't start, forcing them to take the bus. They suggested meeting later in the evening, handing Elvira their business card and informing her that their office was close by. To Elvira's surprise, she gladly responded that her office was also nearby, but in the opposite direction. She exchanged business cards with her assistant, anticipating their evening encounter with excitement as they went their separate ways. The evening at the cafe was delightful, as Oleg arrived with white roses, remarking how the evening made up for their morning misfortunes. He humorously considered the idea that a bad morning could ruin the entire day, but now understood the saying that everything happens for a reason. Elvira laughed joyfully, her eyes gleaming, and her nails perfectly manicured in preparation for the enjoyable evening ahead.